Welcome to Backpage Blues. I'm joined by Charlie the Hurricane Skillen from the Mail Online.
How you doing, mate?
I'm very well, thank you, Charlie. How are you?
Yeah, you're looking great. This shirt, you're jumping on the Fred Perry bandwagon. It's.
Do you know what, Charlie? Coming from the fashion guru himself, that means the world to me. Thank you.
Matching shoes as well. Incredible.
I sense mocking in his tone.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie, let's get started. There's only one place to start,
yeah.
and that is Chelsea are on the back pages again for reasons aside from football.
Yeah, I mean, true. Big story at the minute is Mourinho and his outbursts, his general kind of demeanour, and the person that's been sacrificed is EVA CARNEIRO. It's not a situation that I wanted to be talking to you about really. It's not reflected well on Mourinho. It's not reflected well on the club. It's not reflected well on the way things are run.
What's happening? Is our doctor going to be leaving the club due to this a shambolic incident that should have been resolved within closed doors?
I certainly agree. It should have been resolved in closed doors. No, as it stands, she's still employed by Chelsea. Also, we should mention John Fern, who's also not going to be involved in the matchday operation anymore. But
do you know what, Charlie? Just really briefly, in a succinct 30-second way, just tell everybody what happened, just in case anybody didn't pick up on it.
Fine, right. Well, so Eden Hazard was injured towards the end of the Swansea game on Saturday. Obviously, already down to 10 men with Courtois being sent off. As instructed by the referee, EVA CARNEIRO and John Fern ran on the pitch to treat Hazard. They have to wait for that permission. Mourinho absolutely lost his marbles because then Hazard has to be taken off the pitch.
So we've got 9 men.
Then we've got 9 men in a situation that could be a crucial counter-attack with the game finally poised at 2-2.
Right, so rather than Mourinho taking it up with perhaps himself for us being in a position where we're desperate for a goal, or the players for not, he takes it up with the doctor. The doctor is at fault for this, and
yeah, I mean, look, as I said, I can't reason for Mourinho in this situation particularly. As it stands, and I'm not saying this won't change by the weekend. As it stands, EVA CARNEIRO will not be travelling with the team to Man City. Obviously she's always on the dugout. She's always in the dugout.
She's a very popular figure among the players,
the players and the fans. Yeah, she's not going to be involved in the training sessions. Not going to be involved in matches. She's not even going to be at the team hotel for games. So
this is a shambles.
So she's having a vastly reduced role, vastly changed role from what she's been used to. The same is true of John Fern, the other physio. The other doctor, I should say. It's part of a whole reshuffle of Mourinho's backroom staff, and they've made some slight changes through the summer. And I think the club will try and dress it up as that. But obviously, you can't overlook the timing of this with that outburst on Saturday. This
is terrible, isn't it? Hazard acknowledges that he needs treatment. A doctor's sort of raison d'etre to be at a football stadium is to treat an injury.
Yeah.
Like, we know how important that can be. Mourinho himself knows how important that can be with the Petr Cech thing at Reading. Get on if there's an injury. Her priority isn't the score. She's not the score or the timing of the match is not relevant.
No, I mean Mourinho's argument was that whether you're a doctor, a kit man, a right winger, or the lady who makes the tea, you need to be aware of football situations. And he would argue that's a football situation.
But the way that he would argue that, I understand what he's saying. If you work in any environment, you should be familiar with that environment. But what he did, he labelled her naive, which isn't short of a disgrace.
No, I mean, look, this doesn't reflect well on Mourinho at all. I think he's gone about it in a poor way. No matter how they try and dress it up as a reshuffle or how, who's made these decisions, Mourinho's had an outburst at EVA.
Through the press?
Through the press.
Why not behind closed doors?
And John Fern, he's had a pop at his medical staff, and now, less than a week later, they're out of the matchday picture. But I think what you can say is this is a kind of boiling point of a lot of things that are happening with Mourinho at the minute. There's lots of murmurs that he's not happy with certain situations. There was, this pressure on him to use youth players. We all know that he hasn't got. I'm not saying he doesn't like using youth players, but he hasn't got a history of using youth players.
He definitely didn't want to sell Cech to Arsenal, did he?
He definitely didn't want to sell Cech to Arsenal. He was very outspoken about that. Neil Ashton wrote a piece in the week about there being tension between Abramovich and Mourinho about the progress of people like Loftus-Cheek.
So you think this is just the culmination of these grievances?
And who knows if it is the culmination? We might see more. The other thing, I think, we get a sense that he's upset about the time it's taken to get deals like Baba Rahman and John Stones over the line.
Right. Do you know what, Charlie? Just to sort of play devil's advocate, I'm a Mourinho lover. I'm a Chelsea fan. Is there an argument? Is there anything in a paradigm that suggests that Mourinho has orchestrated this on purpose? We have a massive match against Manchester City, and the good news is that the spotlight isn't on the players. The spotlight is firmly off the players. The players can relax and prepare.
That's Mourinho's greatest trick. He does it all the time. But even if that is true, he's gone about it in a terrible way that doesn't reflect well on anyone. Yeah,
it's shambolic, really, isn't
it? Look, it's not a nice thing to be talking about.
I suppose we should move on. We should move on, and a bit of good news. I just feel so flat about all this. It really is horrible news, isn't it? It's not what we want to be talking about at all. But slightly better news. Well, much better news. Bubba Rahman is over the line.
Yeah, I mean, this deal will happen within. I mean, almost certainly before the Man City game now.
Okay. In time to be in the contention?
Yeah. He could be in contention for the squad. I mean, obviously the initial thinking is that he's not going to be making the first team anyway. He's going to be more of an understudy to Azpilicueta. But, lots of people have been calling for Azpilicueta to move to the right-hand side. I know you've got strong opinions on that.
I'm boiling, I'm seething.
But, this is a deal that's taken quite a while for the terms to be kind of thrashed out between Chelsea and Augsburg. It ends up that Chelsea have agreed a deal worth about 22 million, which
fortune,
which is quite a lot of money. It's going to be an initial 14 million, and then there's certain add-ons and fees. So after 20 games, we pay them another 700 grand. After 100 appearances, it's another 3.5. So it gets the kind
Let's
of.
hope we have a sell-on clause within that, because I think we don't have a sell-on clause in the Kevin De Bruyne deal.
No, we don't.
So let's learn from our mistakes.
We
there,
don't.
Chelsea.
But Bubba Rahman's an exciting prospect. He's very two-footed. He's big, he's strong. He loves to attack, but also he had the most tackles in the Bundesliga last season. So he's obviously got the defensive attributes as well.
Okay, that's good news. I think that you've come into some more knowledge regarding our new stadium.
Yeah, well, this is a large document that came to sort of public awareness this week. It's not news I'm particularly excited about.
Yeah, I know, it's more depressing. Actually.
It's a massive 120-page document. You forgive me for not really
nice bit of bedtime reading.
But I think the thing that fans are going to be most interested in is kind of how the increase in capacity is broken down.
Yeah, disgracefully, I can tell you. You don't need to read the document. Disgracefully. It's true.
So from a capacity of 41,000 or whatever it is now to 60,000, there's actually only going to be just over 700 season ticket holders.
Who cares about them? They're irrelevant. Just get the corporate fans in.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. There's between hospitality and a new thing which they're calling club area members, which I'm sure is hospitality in another name. There's actually over 12,000 more seats for those fans.
Right, so an increase of near on 20,000 overall is going to result in how many extra tickets for normal match-going fans?
It looks like about 6,000.
Wonderful.
There's an 18,000 increase. It looks like about 6,000 for season ticket holders, members, kids, general.
That's outrageous. So basically, people like we're fortunate enough to have season tickets, but people like us, people perhaps watching this who are thinking they don't have a season ticket at the moment because they can't get in. The new stadium will allow these guys, people watching, to get tickets. Sadly not, unless you happen to be involved with a big sponsorship deal. So unless you happen to work for BMW, don't even think about coming to watch a game at Stamford Bridge. And on that happy note, I'm going to ask you for your comments. Let us know what you think about all of the issues raised.
Cheers for watching. It's from Sully Mateen. He says, what are your thoughts on Kurt Zouma? He reckons he's got the potential to be the best centre-half in the world. What do you think?
I think